Hello guys, I am Adarsh Gupta and you are watching Tech Talks. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel so that you get notified each time I upload a new video. So let's start. In today's video, we are going to learn about array. In a previous video, we learned about different data types that are present in a programming language. We learned that there are different types of data, and for each type of data there are different data types. For example, for non-fractional data we have int, short, long, all these data types. But for fractional data we have float and double. Similarly, for alphanumeric data we have char. You must be wondering why I am discussing about data types in this video. You will understand this in a bit. Basically, an array is a collection of similar type of data or same data type. So, by definition, an array is called a homogeneous collection of data. The word homogeneous means of same type. So, basically, the difference between a variable and an array variable is that a variable can store a single value, but an array variable can store more than one value of a particular data type. So, an array can store more than one value in a single variable. Now let's see the general form of array declaration. The general form of array declaration is that we write the data type first, then the variable name, and the variable name is followed by opening and closing third brackets, which is followed by a semicolon. So basically, an array variable is recognized by the opening and closing third brackets. This opening and closing third brackets indicates the dimension of the array. So what is the dimension of an array? We will learn a little later. So basically we can see the difference between a normal variable and an array variable is that a normal variable we write the data type and then the variable name followed by a semicolon. But in case of an array variable, the variable name is followed by opening and closing third brackets. Now let us see an example of declaration of an array variable. This is an example of array variable declaration. So here the data type of the array is int. So basically all the values that will be stored in that array will be of int type. The name of the array is AR, which is followed by opening and closing third brackets. How data is stored in an array and how they are accessed? These two questions must have come in your mind. So now let's understand each of these. Basically, data is stored in an array using second brackets or curly braces. Inside the curly braces, we write the data separated by comma. In this example, we can see that this is an int type array, and inside this array we have stored 5 values, and each of the values are separated by comma. So remember that we can store any number of values in an array variable, but here we are storing 5 values. So how these data are being stored in the memory? In the memory, a continuous block of 5 memories are being occupied like this, and in this each of the values are being stored. So how these data are accessed? We have seen that in a variable if we write the name of the variable we can access that value. But how to access the values in an array since there are more than one values? So we have a concept called indexing. So what an indexing is that each of the values has a particular index or a particular positional value attached to it. So we can see in this example that the value 1, the index is 0. For the value 2, the index is 1. For the value 3, the index is 2. For the value 4, the index is 3. And for the value 5, the index is 4. Basically, indexing starts with 0 and ends to the number of values minus 1. So basically, indexing runs from 0 to n minus 1, where n is the total number of values in the array. So basically, using the indexing, we access each of the values. For example, for accessing the first value, we will write the array variable, and in the third bracket, we will write the index value. In this way, we can access the array variables. In Java, array is also declared in this way, using the new keyword. And within the third brackets, we are specifying a number. This number is actually the number of data that will be stored in that array. So, what is the use of new keyword? We will understand in details while we will learn Java, but for now understand in brief that new keyword allocates a continuous block of memory. And how many numbers of memory blocks are occupied? The numbers that is specified in the third brackets. So this is the way we can also declare array in Java. Till now, whatever example we were seeing of array, those are called single dimensional array. So in single dimensional array, the data is stored in this way, that is as a continuous stretch of memory containing several memory blocks, and the number of memory blocks is actually the number of data that will be stored in the array. But there is also the concept of multi-dimensional arrays, that is an array having more than one dimension. Previously in the video, I had told you that the third brackets, opening and closing third brackets, actually specify the dimension of the array. So what this dimension means is that an array can have a continuous stretch of memory blocks like this for more than one row, that is in a matrix form, and in that case it will be called as a double dimensional array. So what is a multi-dimensional array? An array having more than one dimension is called a multi-dimensional array. The most used form of multi-dimensional array is double dimensional array, in which the data is stored in matrix form. The general form of multi-dimensional array declaration is like this. So basically, in a single dimensional array, the array variable is followed by a single time opening and closing of third brackets. But for double dimensional array, the array variable is followed by 2 times opening and closing of third brackets. So each of the opening and closing third brackets actually specify each of the dimensions of the array. In Java, we can use new keyword for declaring a single dimensional array. Similarly, a double dimensional array or a multi-dimensional array can also be declared in Java in that way, using new keyword. For example, this one. So we can also access the value stored in array using for loop. So let's see how to do that. Suppose there is an array of size 5, that is there are 5 values inside the array. So let's suppose the array is AR, and inside that array there are 5 values 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Now we are running a loop, and the loop value is I. So we will write I equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, and inside the block of for we will display what the array values. So how to access? Let's see. The initial value of I is 0. So 0 signifies the first index of the array, and I is less than n. This is the condition. So what is the n? N is basically the size of this array. For this case, n is equals to 5, since there are 5 values in the array. So the loop is running from 0 to less than n, means 0 to 4. So we are accessing all the indexes of this array, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and it is being incremented by plus 1. So that is, it is each time getting incremented by 1. Now let's see. So initially the value of I is 0. So 0 is less than 5, condition is satisfied. It is coming inside and it is displaying AR of I. So what is the value of I this time? The value of I is 0. So it is displaying AR of 0, which is 10. So 10 is being displayed. Then again it is being getting incremented and it is becoming now 1. So 1 is less than 5. Condition is satisfied. Again it is coming inside and displaying AR of I. So what is the value of I now? The value of I is now 1. So it is displaying AR of 1, which is 20. Again it is getting incremented by 1. Now the value of I is 2. So 2 is also less than 5. It is being satisfied. It is coming inside and it is displaying AR of 2, which is 30. And so on, it will display all the values that are stored in the array. So in this way, using for loop, we can access each of the values stored in an array. I have explained loops in a previous video tutorial. Please do check that video. The link to that video is given in the description box and also in the card above. Please, in the previous example, we have seen that how for loop is being used for accessing the data stored inside a single dimensional array. Now data stored inside double dimensional array can also be accessed using for loop in a similar way. Now let's see how it is being accessed. Suppose there is a double dimensional array AR in which data is stored in this way. So what happens is that inside the curly brackets, two single dimensional arrays are stored. So in this way, the double dimensional array is created. That is, values inside double dimensional array are inserted. Now let's see how the data can be accessed. So for double dimensional arrays, we will use two loops. So for accessing the values of double dimensional array, the loop is written in this way. That is, there are two loops and for loop inside another for loop, which is called nested for loop. So now let's see how data is being accessed. But before that, let us see how this data can be represented in the form of blocks. So basically what is written here is that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the two blocks. So basically this is a block and this one is another block. So we can see that this is represented in a matrix way. So basically there is a row number and also there is a column number. So this M and N are basically the row number and the column number. So now let's see how it works. So we can see here that we have written I less than M and J less than N. So what this M and N are? So M is basically the number of rows. So here number of rows are 2. So M equals to 2 and N is basically the number of columns. So N equals to here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5. So now let's see what happens. Initially the value of I is 0. So 0 less than M, or what is the value of M? M is 2. So 0 less than 2, condition is satisfied, it is coming inside. Now there is another loop. So here what is happening, it is checking that J is 0. That is, the initial value of J is 0 and J is less than N. So N, what is the value of N? It is 5. So 0 less than 5, condition is satisfied, it is coming inside and it is displaying AR of IJ. So what is the value of I now? 0. And what is the value of J now? 0. So basically it is accessing the array value of index 0, 0. So what is the array value of index 0, 0? 0, 0. It is 10. So 10 can be accessed and it is being displayed. Now again it will increment the J, but the value of I will remain same now, but the value of J will get incremented. So now the value of J is 1. So 1 less than 5. Yes, it is satisfied. Again it is coming inside and it is displaying AR of IJ. So I is now 0 but J is 1. So it is accessing the value of 0, 1 which is 20. So 20 is being displayed. Now again it is being incremented, and now the value of I is 2. So 2 is less than 5. So it is displaying here of ij. I is still now 0. So 0, 2. So which is 0, 2. What is the value? 30. So 30 is being accessed. Similarly, 40 and 50 will also be accessed. Now, once the value of j will reach 4, so till then this condition will be satisfied. But once the value of j will reach 5, this condition will not get satisfied. So it will break out of the loop and it will come to this loop. And here the value of I will be incremented. So the value of I will be now 1. So it is taking the condition, is 1 less than m. So what is the value of m? 2. So 1 less than 2, condition satisfied. So it is coming inside. And here it is checking, again this value of 0 is, again the value of j is 0. So 0 less than n, that is 0 less than 5, condition is satisfied. It is displaying here of ij. Now the value of I is 1 and the value of j is 0. So it is displaying here of 1, 0. So what is the value of 1, 0? That is 1. Now again j is incremented. Now it is 1. 1 less than 5, satisfied. It is coming inside. Here of ij. I is still 1 and j is also 1. So 1, 1. Here of 1, 1. What is the value of 1, 1? It is 2. Again j is incremented. Now it is 2. So 2 is less than 5. So it is displaying here of ij. That is 0, 2. So 0, that is 1, 2. So what is the value of 1, 2? It is 3. So 3 can be accessed. Again the value of j is incremented. Now it is 3. So 3 is less than 5. Satisfied? It is coming inside. Now it is displaying here of ij. That is 1, 3. So what is the value of 1, 3? It is 4. Now again j is incremented and now it is 4. So 4 less than 5. Satisfied? It is coming inside. Here of ij, that is 1, 4. So what is the value of 1, 4? It is 5. Now again j is incremented. Now j is 5. So it is checking 5 less than 5. Condition is not satisfied. So it is breaking out of the loop and coming over here. So now I is being incremented. So I was 1 and now I is getting incremented to 2. So now it is checking the condition 2 less than m. So what is the value of m? 2. So 2 less than 2, condition is not satisfied. So it is breaking out of the loop to the outside. Because see, all the array values are being displayed. In this way, we display the values of double dimensional array. So what we can conclude is that in an array, we can store more than one values of similar types in a single variable. And there can be two types of array, single dimensional array or multi-dimensional array. So these are the two types of array. Please like, share and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to receive notification as soon as I upload a new video.